but I'm talking to you about power fishing clear water lakes. We're going to alleviate a lot of misconceptions that people have. We're going to change some things that will possibly change your life. I know you guys have a lot of lakes up here that the water is pretty clear overall, right? Am I correct about that? You know, you don't have too many dirty water lakes where we're talking, you know, 3, 4, 5-inch visibility. Your lakes are probably 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 feet of clear water. And once again is why I guess so many guys up here love throwing spinning rods, because they like the lighter line. And once again, we're going to get back into line being probably the least amount of actual concern that you should worry about. So we're going to start out, you know, topwater lures, frogs, rovers, whopper poppers, buzz baits, regular poppers, walking baits, you name the topwater lure. You should be throwing it on a minimum of 40-pound test braided line. No fluorocarbon, no monofilament, braid. Any topwater, braid. Reason is, first of all, braid floats and it sits on the top, so you're going to get the appropriate action out of that bait. You're going to get that walking bait to walk better because that line's not trying to pull the nose down and make it dive. Topwater baits are designed to sit on top and float on top and work on top. So, reason minimum 40 pound. 40 pound is 10-pound test diameter. When you start getting into that lighter pound test line and you start trying to make those long casts, that braid likes to cut into itself. And what it does is all of a sudden you get that line cutting and you go, and it casts and it goes like 10 feet and it stops and it comes down and you're trying to pick it out and you're just like, you hate that. So minimum 40 pound. The only time that I will actually use what I call a shock leader, and that's always going to be monofilament for the shock leader, and it's roughly, we're talking 8 to 10 inches, and that's for any kind of habitat in clear water is what you're going to look for, any kind. If this is a barren lake and you find one log, you go over there, you catch that fish off that one log, you go and you drive away and you come back an hour later and you catch another fish off of that log because there's another fish going to swim back up to it. Every single time when there's a lack of structure, you put it. They've done tests on this. They've taken tanks. They put bass in tanks with no line in it. You see the bass scattered all over. They put a black line in that tank. All the bass swim to that black line and they sit there. So this tells you in clear water situations, even barren, you find something in the water and you will catch a fish off of it. I tell people that they miss a lot of stuff. Everybody thinks that you got these nice fancy bass boats and you drive around the lakes and you can see everything you want. The majority of the places that I find them on the trolling motor. The best mats to flip. The one rock that's sitting out there on a flat, I will kick my trolling motor on high and just spend time looking. People think that it's pre-spawn or post-spawn and they're not spawning and I'm out there looking like I'm looking for spawning bass. No, in those clear water situations, I'm looking for cover. So I go and I'll drive up by that piece of cover, I'll hit a waypoint on it and just keep on the trolling motor and drive away and try to find another piece of cover and another piece of cover. And I try to find as many pieces of cover I possibly can, knowing at some point there's going to be a fish on them. So now instead of me driving up there looking at it, I've got it on my GPS waypoint. I can make that cast exactly to that. Electronics are key. Using your electronics, using your GPS, making sure you have a good GPS. Guys, upgrade the antennas. Upgrade to the actual antennas. Do not use the external antennas. You're talking the difference between being from that end of the table to this end of the table away from a spot versus being that far from the spot and knowing exactly where your waypoint is and being able to make that cast on that piece of structure. When it is a full moon and on a clear water situation, I believe that the bass feed way better at night and that they are very inactive through the middle of the day in those scenarios because they spend their whole entire time at night feeding. So during that day, in that, you know, bright, sunny, overcast day, they're in some kind of cover dormant because they've eaten all night. So they don't have to eat during the day. It's kind of like you. If you spend all night partying, you know, you get home the next morning, you ain't trying to go out and do anything.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.